What's up my loves, my name is Paige, this is Paige with the Page, and today we're going to be doing my life in books tag. Don't forget to use my code PAGE10 at Bookshipping code to get 10% off your order. Alyssa makes wonderful candles and other bookish and fandom goodies, so check the link in the description box below to check that out. Also in the description box below will be a link to Maddi's original video because she created this tag. So Maddi from Books with Maddi, she does an amazing deck of TBR every month and oh, my heart goes out for her. But she's created this tag and she tagged me in it, so thank you so much and I'm so excited to do it, so let's dive in. So the first question is, what's the first book you remember changing your perspective on something? And this was really hard. So as a child I was an avid reader of really a lot of different kinds of books, but then I hit John Marsden and we read Checkers. I remember my soul being absolutely crushed by this. She has parents, a brother, friends, and a dog. Sometimes the dog seems like the only one she can trust. Her life is about to fall apart. The dog is Checkers. The book is unforgettable. Like, woo! There was a lot of feelings in this, and I haven't reread it since, and I'm curious to. But in reading this, I also read So Much to Tell You, The Journey, Looking for Trouble, and then obviously the Tomorrow When the War Began series. But Checkers and The Journey both just changed my perspective on what books can be. These opened my eyes to nitty-gritty, to hard-hitting, to explicitly sexual in some sections. Oh dear Miffy, oh my god, I forgot about that scene. Yeah, just John Marsden in general. It's the first author and set of books that I can remember going, okay, I'm not reading kids' books anymore. And it really changed my perspective because until then I thought everything was light and fluffy or like adventure stories. The second question is, what's a book that made a big impact on you when you were younger? No one's surprised. Yeah. This shaped me into the person that I am today. There is a lot of feelings and emotions attached to this book and I absolutely love it. The third question is, what book or books made you realize how much you loved reading or maybe got back into it? So for me, there was a long period of time, probably from 2010 probably, to 2016 where I was not a reader. I don't remember anything that I did read. I know that I would go to the library in high school sometimes and just pick up some random things. The only one that really speaks to me is Alana the First Adventurer in that time period. So I knew that I always loved reading, but getting back into reading, I fell in love with The Help by Catherine Stockett. I think because this showed me a different kind of book that I could read. Like, I was focusing more on the younger side of things, I suppose, and this was just a really nice read to look into it. I do understand the white savior trope is in this, and on reflection, it's not the best book to be approaching this topic, but at the time, I wasn't thinking critically of it, and I enjoyed it. The Host by Stephanie Meyer also got me back into reading because I picked it up and it was just so quick to fly through, as well as the Giver series by Lois Lowry. So they were like pinnacle point of me going, oh, I want to do this more. The fourth question is, what were some of your favorite books or series in middle school? So hands down, I remember this doing my 500 Q&A, but the Max Remy Super Spy series was my absolute shit. I just loved it with every fiber of my being. Then Molly Moon, as well as the Fudge series. So there were just, so many good books and I totally forgot about them, and I just want to re-immerse myself in that world and just pick up everything that I read during that time to sort of relive it a little bit. Question 5 is, what's the best book you read in high school and or for a high school class? So I struggled so hard with this question, mostly because I wasn't much of a reader during high school that I can remember. It wasn't fun. In terms of what's one of the best books I read in high school would definitely be Sophie's World by Justine Garner. I only got halfway through the book, but it was still absolutely amazing. My Year 9 English teacher gave this to me as something that he thought I would enjoy, and I devoured all the sections on the philosophy. When it hit a particular point in the story, and it happened 3 times, I just couldn't finish it. And then one holiday, I finished reading it. So good. But even the first half of it, even though I didn't continue on, it was still one of the best stories that I read in high school. For a high school class, however, Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter was probably one of my absolute favorites. Mostly because I was doing Extension 1 in English, which I eventually dropped. But it was dark, it was gritty, it was a retelling, and just everything about it, we were analysing it, but it wasn't in a way that was that, Jane Austen's amazing because she wrote all fancy. Shakespeare's amazing because he wrote all fancy. It was actually like we were valuing the story rather than just a canonical author. So, absolutely loved this. And it was a good time. Bloody brutal, but a good time. Question number 6 is, what's a book you wish you had been able to read in high school? And for me, it's The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So, I really, really, really didn't like this book, but I read it of my own accord. If I had read it in high school, I feel I could either have ripped it to shreds during class or just added it to the collection of books that I've forgotten that I've read during high school. So then I don't actually remember that I've read it and can just continue on my merry existence, not knowing that I've actually read this. The next question is, if you went to college and read books there, are there any that changed your life? So I can't remember specifically any ones that I read for college. I did anthropology and education, so I'm sure I did read some, but they're all just not happening in my brain. But I've construed it as during my college experience, I read these books, and considering I'm still in college, Female of the Species by Minnie McGinnis showed me that I absolutely love Greek. Girl Made of Stars, absolutely phenomenal. Got me into topic of societal expectations and family dynamics dealing with rape, which I think was a really interesting way of exploring it. I also feel that it was a stepping stone into me going, I actually really like these hard-hitting contemporaries. I want to read more of those. To Sew With Love by E.R. Brathwaite, just absolutely powerful book. Any person that wants to be a teacher should definitely pick this up and have a read over it. I want to reread it now that I'm not teaching to see if it does re-spark my love of teaching, but I think I'm just going to appreciate it for what it is because absolutely amazing. And I feel like this should be read in colleges to sort of make sure you're in it for the right reasons as well. And finally, I'm not bothering getting off my shelves, Nevernight by J. Kristoff. Realised I can actually hate books and openly express that opinion. I don't have to like them. That was a turning point for me. Number 8 is, are there any book quotes that change the way you live? If yes, what is it? So every month I note down quotes in my reading journal. Well, at least I have for this year. And I realised just how much these shape me. Like, I don't think on them. I wouldn't get them tattooed on me. But I think about them in a way that when I'm in a situation, I come back to them. And when I read them, having them noted down, it reminds me of how I was feeling when I read them. And sort of shifts my perspective back to where I was in that time, but in a positive way. So I just wanted to quickly go through some of the quotes that I have from this year. I'm sure there are plenty of others, but I just didn't note them down. I felt loneliness when I was young, but when I think of you, I want to be alone together. I want to strive against and for. I want to live in contact. I want to be a context for you, and you for me. I love you, and I love you, and I want to find out what that means together. That really shaped, I want to be alone together. That is my way of expressing love. I don't want it to be in your face. I can be in your face, and I'm happy for my partner to be in my face. But the fact that we can just coexist in our same space and do our own thing, but do it together. It was so nice seeing it on page because I didn't realize that that was something that I was not having in relationships before or that I needed. And so then I had words to articulate it. And so I could explain it to Ash when we started dating, being like, look, I love you, but I'm also going to do my own thing. And yeah, it was really nice having that confirmation, I suppose. From The Library of the Unwritten, Ramiel says, forgiven does not mean no regret. We'll always regret the wrongs we've done. It just means you aren't punishing yourself for it. Who feels guilty about everything they've ever done? Who needed that quote to just perfection? Perfection. Obviously, I would be remiss not to mention quotes from my favourite book of this year, because these quotes hit so hard and so damn close to home that it broke my soul. The point is that you feel uncomfortable and you're trying to talk yourself out of it because you think you're supposed to be nice. Niceness is expected of her, not honesty. The problem is she's done things too often because she didn't want to disappoint people. I think enough said on that. I took that on board. From My Duck Vanessa, we have I just really needed it to be a love story, you know? I really needed it to be that. Because if it isn't a love story, then what is it? This is my life. This has been my whole life. You know, books really shape the way that you see the world, hey? For so long. I had blinders on, and it was really nice taking them off. Bit of a funny one, but it's not actually funny in the context, but it shifted how I thought about things, and that is, and I realised how badly I'd been treated before. If my standards had become so low, if the freedom I'd been granted felt like a privilege and not an inherent right. So that was from Feyre in A Court of Mist and Fury, and just that empowerment, we love to see it. Also, agree with the standards being so low. Like when Ash and I first started dating, I was like, do I like him because he's nice? Made me realise the way that Ash treats me is how I should have been treated all along. And the last quote, because I probably have been talking for about 30 fucking minutes, is from Know My Name by Chanel Miller, and that is, this was no longer a fight against my rapist, it was a fight to be humanised. I know that I am not in a position to be able to make big changes, but just holding that in myself, in passing this on to others, to show them that the fight that they are fighting is not one that they should need to fight. Women deserve to be humans, men deserve to be humans, non-binary people deserve to be humans. Everyone deserves to be humanized in a way that does not degrade their experience of who they am as a person, who they are as a person even. Question number 9 is, what is the most meaningful book you've read this year? And that is A Heart in the Body in the World by Deb Coletti. Just from those quotes, you can understand why it's so meaningful to me. Took it along. Yeah, cool. Moving on. Question 10 is, everyone goes through hard times. Are there any books that pulled you out of that? Fuck. 2019, I moved to a new town. I broke up with my long-term partner. I started a job. By the end of the year, I ended up being in therapy with them for. So, like, any of my 2019 reads were to help me get out of that. I suppose the one that really helped reignite a love and a passion in me was The Daughter of Smoke of My Own series by Laini Taylor. So we can go with that, and that just made me happy. The question number 11 is, do you have any safety or comfort books, or any books that make you feel at peace? Flatshare by Beth O'Leary, Frostheart by Jamie Littler, Matilda by Roald Dahl, Tea Dragon Society, anything that is cute and fluffy, I will guarantee be at peace with myself. And finally, number 12 is, what book or books can you not wait to read to your kids? And I'm just so excited to read them everything, because I want them to see the passion of reading. I want them to be able to know that they have this whole world that they can explore and be a part of, and give them the opportunities to discover their own loves and desires and favorites, and get them exploring just these whole different universes. I feel like as a child, Mum would read to us every night without fail. She has always encouraged a love of books and reading, learning. I want my kids to be able to have that same role model, that same structural support. The books that I would read would definitely be Roald Dahl, Tamora Pierce, Frostheart, just any like pure middle grades that I think they will love. But again, wanting them to discover their own loves, and then reading them anything that they want from there. The Percy Jackson series, Nevermore, like, just give them all. Put them all in a library and say, here. Thank you, Maddi, for tagging me in this. Got nice, deep and personal. Love doing that occasionally, putting it out on YouTube, because, like, yes, Cool, great. Don't forget to use my code PAGE10 at the Bookish Bean Co to get 10% off your order. Let me know in the comments what was the best book that you read in high school, because I cannot remember, so give me some options. Let's see how we go. And if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to join our little bookish family and see more of this mess, feel free to subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!